Okay, there we are. That's weird. Just as I'd actually launched a stream here, it did come up with an error on YouTube saying, oh, streaming isn't available right now. But yeah, it's still streaming, so okay. Great there, YouTube. Thanks for making me look like a dick. So how are you guys doing there? So there, Thrawn, hello there, Geezer, hello there, Harkon, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, okay. So, I've been thinking about this one. Hello there, Anna. I have been thinking about this down here, and it's an interesting one, really. Now... See, the big thing is, really, I want Kitty Wutai to move north towards Truck to obviously rearm, repair, all that sort of jazz. But I suppose the issue is really, we know roughly where the American carriers are. Roughly. Well, we did last turn. I suppose we might be able to figure out a rough idea of where they might have gone, perhaps. So, they were around about here, perhaps. I think it was something around about that sort of area there. Is that there, Saltfish? Hello there. Yeah, okay, so... we've got to figure out where they've gone. So let's assume that they were in this position here, so... count as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, perhaps? It could be a little bit more than that, but we'll go with that then. I'd shock at Clark, you achieved 1-to-1 facing him, retreat to what? Yeah, you are right Ben, Infinite. Yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that one. I mean, that is a big deal, actually, with the fact that he's not in the right preparation mode. We do have additional numbers there. I might even have additional numbers there tomorrow, to be honest. The divisions are in pretty good shape as well. Obviously, there is a bit of issues with the disruption fatigue, but it's not too bad, actually. Well... that's welcome advice on Infinite. We're just discussing the possibilities of American carriers. But yeah, let's say, I don't know, it depends really on like where his carriers might go. Assuming they went at full speed, they could be potentially out here, they could be potentially out here as well, perhaps. I mean, this is it. I'd like to say most likely back to Pearl. I mean, that would be the most, it would be the cautionary strategy. It would be the one that would say, okay, well, I've struck a blow, I've got out of there, no damage sustained other than to a couple aircraft, bada bing, bada boom. But knowing THG, I do feel like he will look towards potentially something further, potentially something more damaging. But what I do find encouraging is the fact that the task force over here, so 142 over at Baker Island. Now, there is some detection over here at Baker Island, 1 out of 5. Now, 1 out of 5, it does make me wonder that perhaps he's either had a magic interception over here, or whether he's had a float plane over here, but either way, it looks as if this actual detection has been somewhat diminished, perhaps. I think when it's 1 out of 10, it's like search planes, but then again, it could be 1 out of 5 due to the level of search planes, perhaps. It's something of that nature. I don't believe it's a magic interception. I think it might have been from an actual aircraft, perhaps, but I could be wrong, as I often am. But the interesting thing here is, well, 142 hasn't, well, been assaulted, hasn't been, as far as I can tell. And let's take a look at the actual operation reports then, shall we? Just hide that, there we go. I'm looking for reports really from Baker Island. I need to figure out if, really, which way he's heading. If he's indeed heading away from us or towards us, it's unknown really at this moment in time. Okay. Yeah, I was ashamed about the Yaimare. Yeah, well, how the hell are you saying Maru? I mean, I've learned a lesson there, so I suppose we'll just have to put them in there. I was hoping that they would have been able to do so with the service combat, but seems not. But that's fine, we'll learn that lesson. It was rough, but it could have been much worse. Okay. I do need to deal with this partisan. Well, with the actual VP loss over here, I do need to deal with that. I'm glad that these fortifications have expanded. That is good news. Right. Now, as far as I can tell... 112108, that might be submarine, perhaps. But it might be worth checking out. Yeah, I'm not seeing much there. I think he's probably headed back, perhaps. I mean, what I'm worried about is he might be... Let's see, bring these back up. What I'm thinking is he might be headed out this way, perhaps, to head down and try and hit the marshals, perhaps, or even Wake. And in all honesty, that would be the best case scenario for me. As at the end of the day, the Marshall Islands do have protection to a degree. They do have an ability to strike. What worries me, and I know a few people are worried about this one as well, and I can understand the worry about it, is perhaps, is he going to seek to push down here? What does encourage me is the fact that Baker Island doesn't have any detection. I mean, these patrol boats in these areas don't have any detection. Now, we did see from the carriers off of Tadawar that he was using his, was it the SBD 3s and 2s and the TBD 1s, he was using them as reconnaissance aircraft. I can imagine he probably did have some float planes in there as well, in the actual escort forces. So, if I was to hazard a guess, I'd say if he was here, for example, he would probably pick up these ships, or he would do something. I'm assuming there would be some sort of reconnaissance. I can't imagine he would go here basically blind. I just can't see it happening. So, the question on my mind really is, so at the moment we do have Kiributai here. I could move, obviously, towards the north, and I could spend perhaps a day over here, as we more than likely would do. Or perhaps a little bit further north, but round about this area here. We will obviously have that day there. I might have them meet up with the oiler over here at Tulagi. But the thing is, if I'm going to be heading back to Truk, I'm not going to need the oiler at Tulagi. I would be able to manage there. Hello there, Krishnov. How you doing, my friend? But obviously, if there is a possibility that he might head down here towards the south, then obviously I'm going to need to refuel there to be able to respond to that. But I do think that we need to continue towards Truk, and I have detached the 2 battleships over here. I'm actually contemplating, yeah, I think I'm going to have them reattached to Kiributai. I think the thing is, it's just, they're very good at the escort role. They are very good. And it is hard to say no to defending our most precious warfighting capability, really. It's hard to say no to protecting that. Hello there, Paul. How you doing, my friend? So, I think what we need to do here, then, is I do have additional E-13A1s over to the north on board, was it Mizuho? So I could potentially spread out some of those squadrons here to get additional reconnaissance, additional detection going around here, which we really need. Hello there, Toby Carter. How you doing, my friend? So I think that's going to be the way we handle this. So let's take a look. If I take a look at Kiributai, they're not going to increase the rate at which they move, of course. They're still going to be moving at 29 knots due to Abakuma and the seaplane carrier here. 30 knots for the Kagi. I don't think it makes a particular difference, really, there at that speed. Now, I mean, here in Kirishima could also deal with some of this system damage being repaired, a little bit of engine damage here that could be repaired as well. Potentially we could do with actually upgrading their search craft. So, it would have been nice to have had them escorting there. They will be back. I mean, this is the reason behind this move. Is, at the end of the day, I'd rather have them escort the carriers because we are aware of American carriers in this rough area. And it's unknown as to what he might do. So what I'd rather do is protect the assets I do have, because it would take him potentially 2 to 3 days to arrive down here. And maybe 2-3 days, something of that sort of nature. What I'm going to look to do here is set up additional float plane squadrons to try and scout out the situation, really try and get an idea of what's going on here. I could go to Baker Island and Funafuti before I headed to New Zealand. Yeah, he potentially could do. I'm somewhat more confident due to the fact that I'm not seeing any detection over here. I'm not seeing any sort of... I mean, there's a little bit of detection here, but I would imagine it would be greater than that. It could be a sign. But we do have our aircraft over here at Funafuti, so I'm actually going to put them 100% search. I want them all out there. At least I do have some prior warning over here, and that is a big, big thing. What I'd like to do is, I'd like to put a squadron down here at Luganville if I could. I mean, obviously, Bacon and Canton would be nice, but I can't do that. Maybe another squadron over here at Funafuti. But just something so I do have some sort of detection in this area here. We do have craft over here at Tarawa. We have craft over here at Funafuti. So that is quite nice. That is important. So I need another squadron down here at Luganville. I need eyes in the sky. I need eyes on what's going on here. So I think with that, I might release additional H6K force to run daytime activity as well. I think that would be welcomed. What is your order about? Where have you? Right, Roynama, Patani. Yeah, we need to bloody pick these guys up. I'll tell you what, I think there's been an issue. I think this is it. I think I might have sent far too many H6K force to that area. And I might come to regret that. Well, this is it. Okay, so I do have this force over here. I'm going to go somewhat fleet in between things. Is he able to resupply ammo and bombs at sea? No, I do not believe he would be able to. He can rearm. Sorry, he can refuel, but he can't rearm as such. Okay. Not until 45, okay. Right, so they're going to continue in there. They're set to... Hello there, Justin. As far as what's happened, then really, to be honest, it's one of these turns of where it has been a good turn. It's like, we did suffer some losses over here at London and Comac. Obviously, our reconnaissance was actually lacking over here, which has been rather intriguing. And when we did pick up this unit in the first day, really, and then even with the subsequent reconnaissance runs, they didn't seem to pick them up, only fleetly. So it was rather intriguing. We never got a number of how many men were here. But that situation can be rectified. What we are going to do is we're going to have the regiments head over here and obviously just get things sorted. I think what we're going to do here is basically organize ourselves, and then we'll ideally have Comac in that time. But yeah, we have to make a big strike at Noumea to take that. We could run a long campaign over here, but it would take a very long time marching here. And I think the longer the wait, the more fortified he's going to be. But I think if we go in with a big strike, well supported, it could be successful and within good time as well. So I think that's what we're going to go for. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we do thankfully have our submarines. They do have an opportunity to potentially engage with him. I think we'll get some additional flow planes into the area, then I'll feel a lot safer. I feel a lot better. And the good news is I'm going to have another seaplane carrier out here soon as well. So that means I'm going to be able to increase the amount of reconnaissance I'll have in the actual theatre itself, as obviously I can deploy them to different islands, really. Like, I'll have another AV arriving over here not too long from now. Yeah, so the Sanuki Maru, she's going to be arriving there shortly with a decent amount of supply, actually. So she could actually run a decent base over the Shortlands for some time. And so obviously we'll run our reconnaissance over there at Rabal. I do have the 56 on the way down. Yeah, he'll have torpedoes, but the thing is, he'll believe he did better at Tarawa than he actually did. I mean, obviously we'll be guilty of that one as well. But, I mean, had we not lost the warships over at Tarawa, then it wouldn't have been as bad. I mean, it's not as bad as it was feared on the first day. I mean, these ships are battered, but they can be saved if he doesn't return. And, yeah, they're going to be out of the war for a while, but if they're able to be saved, they will serve again. Which ships will you use to bombard Noumea? See, this is a big thing, isn't it, really, when it comes down to what would we use to bombard Noumea? I think we'd have to use the heaviest armament, perhaps. But if we take a look at this force over here, so, of course, I do have Nagato and Mutsu. I think, it's one of these things. We are going to be using the L3Y2s to transfer the naval headquarters from Kwajalein to Truk, so we will soon have the capabilities to actually rearm the Nagato and Mutsu, probably the next couple of weeks. Well, maybe another week, 2 weeks, depends on really the rate at which we can build up the port there and naval support. But I'd say it would be worth it to use the Nagato's guns, Nagato and Mutsu's guns. I might keep the heavy cruisers in reserve. But, the way to look at this is, it's like, if we get to Trek and we begin to have a little bit of that R&R sort of thing, we'll look at what we can manage in those days. So we're going to have a bit of downtime while troops arrive, and basically troops organize for an attack over here. So we'll have some time. It would be risky for him to swing south if ammo... If ammo, if only enough for a single raid or for... Yeah, well, this is it, really. See, I believe he was aware of Kidabutai remaining in this location for about 2 days. So I suppose in some ways, the fact that the oiler caused issues over here, caused Kidabutai to remain on station in this area for longer than we really wanted, might actually work out to our benefit, because obviously the last time he saw it, it was in this area. And obviously it's not moved far from this area either, has it? So what could he expect? I mean, this is the thing, he doesn't know where Kidabutai is now. Yeah, he doesn't know. But the last time he saw her, she was around about this area. And he recognizes the fact, he knows, absolutely knows, that I have a lot invested in here. He knows I'm performing naval operations, amphibious operations, sorry, he knows I have a lot invested here. So, would he believe I would keep the carriers? I think this is it. I think the thing is, we have to sort of go for the plan he does not expect, really. I suppose there's 3 options as far as it goes with our carriers, really. It's first option, so number 1, is to remain on station in this area here to ensure security of the actual forces. There's option number 2, around about this area here, which is where we go out to try and seek battle with his carriers. But there's also the third option, which I don't know how much he could know about that. I don't know how much he would think we'd be doing this. But the third option is obviously to go back, rearm, repair. Basically rid ourselves. I think they should keep 1 Nagato class in reserve with 100% ammunition to counter any attacks of the cruisers. Yeah, potentially so. I mean, what we are hoping for, really hoping for, and what we're trying to engineer here, is, speaking of engineers, is to actually establish an airfield over here. Once I have an airfield over here, once I can actually stage fighters, and a fighter squadron and a bomber squadron, it does significantly ease the burdens that we have here. Because if I can actually use bombers, then I'm not going to have to potentially use the battleship, really. He has... Yeah, we do have 2 AKEs. It's just... Well, 1 or 2. It's just obviously trying to get them to where they're needed, really. Since you're invading Caledonia, what if you send some ships to intercept the invasion from New Zealand or Australia so they're close by? The thing is, it's like, he could do that, but what is he going to send? And, it's a big risk. It is a big risk. When it comes to surface warfare, I mean, this is it. This is what we've got to bear in mind here. See, these ships over here by Comac, they're only going to be here... well, this group over here is going to be here maybe 1 more day. 1 more day, and then they're going to head back to Luganville, give or take. The light cruise over here, she's also going to be on station a little bit longer, but then she's going to head in here, and then she's going to head back to Luganville. We have these forces here. They're going to head into Comac. 2 days, maybe, perhaps at tops, and then they're going to head back to Luganville. I'm going to potentially have the surface combat force linger around this area as a security measure, though ultimately, I don't know if it's potentially worthwhile, because that leaves my base of operations at Luganville possibly open to an attack, if there was one. The attack is not going to be really surface ships. If he goes for a surface ship raid, he's either very brave or he's very confident. I suppose that is almost like 2 sides of the same coin, but there's a difference between bravery and confidence. I suppose in a way, being a fool as well. He knows I have 2 battleships. He knows that. He knows that we have multiple heavy cruisers. He knows how dangerous our warships are. He knows that. I mean, this is it. What could he muster? A heavy cruiser. He has heavy cruisers, don't get me wrong. Well, let's take a look at that. The thing is, let's compare this then. So, the Aoba class. So, for example, 7650, 36. Cacao, so that's for attack. 7650, 36. Okay. So, obviously that doesn't measure up to a battleship. Well, at least the Japanese battleships. If we take a look then at the tracker, for example, we'll sort of get a measure of what we might be potentially going up against. And of course, it doesn't always come down to the armor. It's not all pure armor. At the end of the day, if the enemy lands a critical hit, it doesn't particularly matter how much armor you have if it lands in the right spot. AK, look at the HUD, for example. And of course, there's always the threat of torpedoes. But the thing is, we are able to cover the battleships as we do have the escorts, we do have the other additional supporting ships. So then that means that their big guns can come into play. And when their big guns come into play, that's when things get rather interesting. So if we take a look at this then, so if we take a look at US Navy, for example, so available. So we've already sank we already sank the Houston. I think she was a Pensacola. I'm sure I've seen a Pensacola class and a New Orleans class, potentially. I feel definitely like I saw a Pensacola class. So let's take a look at that, man. So obviously it's not all about armor, but it helps to give us an idea of what we're looking at. So 62, 25, 62, Northampton, 75, 25, 62, Portland, 75, 62, 62. Right, the New Orleans is a pretty tough bird. 125, 155, 150. Yeah, fairly nice. Yeah, exactly. I doubt he would risk his heavy cruisers if he knows Kidabutai was there, unless he saw it moving away. The point HMS Repulse appears from repair instantly to surprise us all. Yeah, I mean, that'd be interesting. But even Repulse, she's a dangerous ship, but she is a battle cruiser at the end of the day. If we take a look then, so Repulse, she's armoured, she's very nicely protected. I mean, she does have decent armour there. Obviously, it's not on the same level as the King George V, but it's still fair protection. She would be a tough old bird. She does have big guns. But yeah, it's something to bear in mind. It's one of these things I think it'd be far too brave of him. And if we take a look at the Nagato. Yeah, 270, 150, 365. The guns are what matter, really, for the most part. I mean, range at 42,000 yards. Obviously, we're not going to be hitting at 42,000 yards unless we are lucky. But I don't think he'd do it. I don't think he would. He's thrown at least 2 and 3, possibly 3 different cruiser DD forces of Fiji area. Yeah, it looks as if he has a mix of US heavy cruisers and Australian heavy cruisers, more than likely. Possibly even a French cruiser or some destroyers, perhaps. The AO Benefer attack only carries 6.203mm guns and 76mm of belt armor. Oh no, this is it. It's not going to be the heavy cruisers that are going to stop the heavy cruisers. At the end of the day, you don't want your heavy cruisers fighting their contemporaries. They're not going to do well in that role. It's one of these things, isn't it? If you got into a fight with somebody, you don't really want to be on equal terms, do you really? If you want to win, you don't want to be on equal terms. You want to be... It's like, for example, let's say there's 2 guys fighting. One of them has a knife and one of them has a pistol. Obviously, you want to be the fucking guy with a pistol, don't you? You know what I mean? This is how I look at things. It's like, you don't send a heavy cruiser to defeat a heavy cruiser. You send a battleship or something of a similar nature that, well, a similar lethality that can take care of that with a minimum amount of risk to your own asset. The heavy cruisers are really there to defend against light cruisers and destroyers. They're not really made... Well, at least ours aren't really made to engage with heavy cruisers. It's not really an engagement that we'd like. And of course, we do have a larger force in total around the area. Additional destroyers, additional light cruisers, additional heavy cruisers as well, always quite handy. So, for example, I do have some slower light cruisers out here, but at least they're still light cruisers, they still have armament. Yeah, the Aussie heavy cruisers. And what we've got to bear in mind is, as well, it's like, in the last couple of days, we did see a very large force alongside the carriers. And I think the thing to consider here is, what does he gain more from? Does he gain more from sending a surface raid over here that's never going to be in enough strength to really tackle this force over here? Or is he going to use those warships to actually escort his most precious resource, which is his carriers right now? And he's going to do that. He's going to escort the carriers, in my opinion. As we did see a large escort force over here. And it would make sense, as far as I can tell, there are forces over here at Auckland. I think there's some forces over here at Fiji, but obviously there's going to be a major concentration of US ships over here, well, Allied ships in general, with the carriers. Heavy cruisers beat light cruisers beat DDs, DDs beat battleships. Well, the thing is, destroyers, they need to actually get in range and they need to actually be able to use their torpedoes. And that's not always guaranteed. It's not really even guaranteed. If you have an actual functioning screen, then destroyers aren't going to get close. I'd be trying to get a bunch of PT bounce into the theatre if I was THG. I mean, this is it. It's one of these things of where he'd like to do things like that. The threat to this area is going to come from submarine. Not battleship, not heavy cruiser, not carrier. It's going to be submarines. That's my opinion. It's going to be the submarines that we fear. I think there's a good part of us that would feel significantly better if we left Kitabutai in this area. And I can understand that, and I could even get behind that. But I think we must play the long game. We have to accept the fact that we are fighting a war. We're not fighting a battle, we're fighting a war. We have to think beyond today, beyond tomorrow, beyond this week, beyond this month, beyond this year. And the thing that stands out from that is we are going to need Kitabutai in tip-top shape and ready. She needs to be ready. Right now, she can win the battle, but she's beaten. She's beaten up. If we take damage, it's going to accentuate the damage that we already have, and that's not a good thing. We've taken losses, we need to replace those losses. We need to upgrade, repair, rearm, and be ready, really. So, for example, on the here in Kirishima, we're using the F1M2Ps. I'd like to use the E13A1s instead of that. I think it should be better safe than sorry. He likely knows Kitabutai is leaving. Oh no, you guys are absolutely right. You guys are right. Which is why we are going to be sending out the Fiji cover force in the coming, I'd say probably the coming day, perhaps. I'm going to have them refueled, rearmed. In fact, I might have them head out. Does he know about them? He does have an idea about them. We'll put to sea then. See, the thing is I really could do with actually taking control of these islands. He might be using float planes, but the thing is, he has plenty of range. If he has PBYs, they're going to be over here at Fiji. They will have that range. Then again, maybe they have that range. Might not be far off. They might have roughly enough range there. But they're probably going to come over this way. I need to take that bloody island as well, actually. What if you route Butai, well, Kitabutai by New Caledonia for a few days and route back? And the thing is, if we head back, we're delaying ourselves massively. Kitabutai isn't going to contribute much to this. Yes, we have that overwhelming air power, but the thing is that air power is precious, it's finite. It's not something to be squandered. We can take New Caledonia without Kitabutai. Kitabutai was there to really open up the door, and she was there really due to the fact that we didn't know where the American carriers were. We were fearing the worst. Of the worst being obviously carriers down here in the south. But since we know where the carriers are roughly, we can respond to that. The carriers are there to deal with the carriers. In reality, once we have an airfield here, things become significantly easier. But New Mail will fall without Kitabutai having to intervene. And the thing is, we've got to bear in mind that the sooner that we arrive here at Truk, and the sooner we're armed and refueled, the sooner we can head back out to sea. The longer we leave it, the worse it's going to be. We have forces here. And it's not a weak force, you know. It's not a weak one. It feels like you spent a lot of fuel getting Kitabutai down here for a single raid, and by moving you lose a strong deterrent to interrupting the landings. But the thing is, though, is he going to go for it? And when it comes to interrupting the landings, he's not going to have long. He's going to have a small time frame from which he might be able to potentially interrupt. Oh, we're not going to go and hunt the carriers, don't worry about that. See, what I'm going to do here then is, they're already set to low. So retirement is allowed. So as soon as they're done, they're going to get the hell out. Right, Katori. She has her plane over here. Yeah, see, we were running reconnaissance over Comac, which I find incredible. We'll run the reconnaissance a little bit lower than at 8,000 feet. Ideally, we might be able to pick something up. He might do it, but I don't think it'd be a good idea. In reality, the troops are ashore. That is what matters. He doesn't have long to really... I mean, this is it. It's like like I said before, these ships are going to be remaining on station for days and days and days. In reality, we need to protect here. He might come over here and he might bombard, but that's not going to make a difference. It's not going to stop it. It might hurt, but it's not going to make a difference. What we need to do, really, is protect this sort of sea lane here. That's what matters. These forces will leave tomorrow. He'd be a brave man to have forces already en route. And he has to take into account, really, how much do I know? We see a lot of ships down this way. We have submarines over here by Fiji, we have submarines over here by New Caledonia. I am sending additional submarines down this way as well. I think the big thing here is we just need to get E13A1 Jakes on station and in the area. Case closed on that one, really. So let's see what we can do here then, eh? Right, range. So I could potentially move on to Quadrilline. Right, so I could transfer you to the Shortlands right now, actually. Okay. They'll be there in about 2 days. Right. I mean, he attacked with his carriers in state, he likely wants to defend the islands, and he doesn't have that many on Comac. See, this is it. This is where we have to just understand what this means, really. He came in over here at Tarawa to inflict losses, which he did. He was successful in that. But the Tarawa raid was to divert attention away from the south. It was to draw Kidabutai away. That isn't going to save Comac. It's the entire purpose really is to try and draw us out, to try and waste our time, try and delay us really. We've always discussed the fact that this operation, in regards to it, Kidabutai was only meant to spend a week on station here, and we've roughly hit that sort of deadline, and we did say we would pull Kidabutai out, which is what we need to do. At the end of the day, the longer Kidabutai remains on station, doing nothing, yeah, it's time wasted. It is time wasted. She needs to be doing better things than this. He, with his carriers, for example, see, this is it. It's like New Caledonia itself is inconsequential to him. He knows he's not going to lose a war by losing New Caledonia. He's not going to lose a huge deal here. It's going to cost him, but he's not going to lose a huge deal. He has infinite resources. He has the infinite might of the Allied, well, arms, basically. He's not going to throw everything at saving New Caledonia, because it doesn't matter that much to him, ultimately. You've got to imagine he's got to get down here first, and you can imagine the risk here is just amazing. It's such a large risk. And what's the payoff, really? I mean, let's say here, for example, that the entire operation is destroyed. Yep, it'd hurt, it'd suck, it would really bother us. Well, to be honest, it'd bother us, but it wouldn't sink us, it wouldn't stop the war, we wouldn't lose, we just simply have to shift. But we are going to try and ensure that doesn't actually happen. Obviously, I do not want to lose everything there. But look at it this way. Kidabutai is going to be in position here tomorrow. We do have reconnaissance assets over, well, obviously up here to the north are going to be active. These assets are active over here. We're going to have some additional assets around as well. He's got to get down here. We can't be jumping at shadows. He might do. The thing is, we can't be jumping at shadows. If we fight the war by what he might do versus what we can, well, really theorize, it's like, for example, yeah, he might do that, but the thing is, it's like, how much does he really want to risk his carriers? You've got to imagine the risk to us versus the risk to him. Like I said, for example, if we lose the operation down here, it's not the end of the war. If he loses all 3 of his carriers, or if he loses his carriers, for example, that's going to hurt. That's going to really dramatically change the entire... Well, it's going to change 1942, it's going to change 1943, it's going to change a lot. He'll use ships from Australia, Brisbane... Well, this is it, but what does he actually have there? That's what we've got to bear in mind. We do have submarines on station over here to help us against that. But you've got to bear in mind, obviously, a lot of ships over here and here and here. I just don't think it's worth it to jump at Shadows. I don't see the evidence that he's going to have some sort of force here. He might attempt it, but I think it's going to be through submarines, really. I just think it's being far too cautious. We do have a strong deterrent. And that is going to be employed. I'm going to set them about halfway. We'll linger about halfway. Something around about there. We'll linger, perhaps. No, I disagree. See, losing this would hurt, but him losing his carriers would hurt more. And this is it. It's one of these things of where we are fighting on a somewhat even playing field, to a degree. When it comes to surface action, we can fight against that. And we could win against that. If we take a look at what we have in the area, so there's another DD, there's another DD. So... I don't know, what's that, like 6? And we do have a couple of destroy minesweepers that could be pressed into battle as well. We have what? Let's see here. So it's 2 heavy cruisers there, 2 battleships, so that's 3 heavy cruisers, 4 heavy cruisers, there's another 2 light cruisers here. Patrol boats, submarines. Another destroyer coming in here. Right. I think it's less being too cautious and more him being too aggressive. No, you guys are absolutely right. We are right to worry. You guys are right to worry. But this is what we are preparing for. This is what we have to be ready for. So the way I'm looking at this is the fact that he might have moved at full speed, but he's going to probably be out here somewhere, perhaps. Or he might be up here somewhere. I don't think he's in this area, because I think we'd have seen some sort of notion of that. Okay, I feel you are missing the point. He'd be using Australian heavy cruisers, light cruisers and DDs, but... Okay, what... How many does he have? There might be a compromise, since if he has cruisers or DD and destroyer... destroyers in Australia, can you splinter off a carrier or 2 or a few screens to Caledonia? See, we can't separate the carriers. The issue is, let's say the worst happens and carriers come down here. 2 carriers ain't gonna stop that. And if 2 carriers are on here, yeah, he's gonna be definitely gunning for those. It's hard to really explain. I know you guys are worried. It's like I'm worried as well, of course. Well, you've got to see this as... well, let's take a look at what we know. We know there's warships here. There might be warships over here. There might be warships over by Fiji. Why has he not already employed them? Okay. So obviously you could say... Well, Kiributai was on station. True. But how is he going to know when Kiributai exactly leaves? For the last 2 days he's seen Kiributai in the area. At what point is he going to think, okay, well, Kiributai is left? If he doesn't know where Kiributai is, how does he know that she's left? So when does he know when to actually launch these raids? How much force does he bring? How much force can he bring? Let's say he has 5 ships here, and he has 6 ships here, and he has 7 ships here. That's all well and good. But unless he's going to actually concentrate this fleet into a fleet in being, they could be defeated individually. I know you guys are worried. And this is it. We'll see what happens. The point I'm trying to make here is we need Kidabutai to head back, but we're not going to just ignore. If we see carriers over here, or if we see something approaching here that we can deal with, we'll go deal with it. Now, my compromise really is that Kidabutai is going to... Well, she's going to head over here. We'll have the Oilers meet her in the same hex, and then she'll refuel depending on the situation. If there's enemies, and if there's opposing forces that we can see, she'll refuel and she'll possibly be sent to deal with him in whatever sort of form they take. But if there aren't any, we'll move another day. If the same happens again, there's no enemy forces, we'll move another day. We do have additional assets moving down here. So for example, I mean, I'm going to look forward to these guys arriving. But for example, we have another couple destroyers over here. A few AGs, obviously miscellaneous ships. But the important thing here really is getting the 21st Air Flotilla down there. Once we have the 21st Air Flotilla down here, once we actually have a functioning airfield, so we are building up to it, it's going to take a couple of days now. But once we actually have that functioning and ready, then we can actually protect ourselves to a degree against most things. No, he doesn't know Kidabutai is here. He has no detection over Kidabutai. Right, he'll know Kidabutai is there because he's seen them. Right, okay, so he saw Kidabutai here for about 2 days. He's not seen her move north. He might think, okay, they're moving north, but then again, he's seen us remaining on station for 2 days. Overextended and being stymied, well, stymied by the Allies at their weakest point over it all. Now, this is it, we have to be worried, but the thing is, it's like we have to accept that there is risk here. But there's also risk to him. He hasn't lost cruisers over in this sphere, as far as I'm aware. Okay. But that is basically how it's going to be. I mean, you have... I mean, I'm making a conciliation here. Okay. So... Oh wow, that highlight is ugly as hell. I know I sound like I'm being an arse on this, and I know I sound like I'm not listening. I am listening to your points here, which is why I'm sending the battleships out here. Which, to be honest, I'd rather save the fuel, but they're going to head out here about midway. Now, ideally, they don't. Well, ideally they're not detected, but I imagine they probably will be detected. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them on station over here. Ideally, they're going to remain on station undetected. But we'll have this force head out in a day. We'll have this force head out here, head down here in about 2 days, something like that. It's probably when they'll arrive. So what we'll do then is, while they are doing so, is we will have our forces there and ready. Obviously, the battleships there and ready. Do you know what effect does it have if a land unit doesn't have enough support? I couldn't say right now. I do have the manual, so I have to check that one out in the future. I think it decreases their ability to fight, honestly, it decreases their, well, assault value amongst other things. Look off G-Force. Okay. They're heading there. I'm not going to burn them at full speed. I just don't think the threat is as imminent as feared. I know that sounds really haughty, but I think we'd have at least 2-3 days before we have to worry. It's like, as I just said, it's like Kidabutai is obviously here now. She was here for 2 days. He's going to take note of the fact that Kidabutai has remained in position. He's going to take note of that. He's lost detection of Kidabutai before, and he'll lose detection of Kidabutai again. But the important thing here is what he knows. He knows that Kidabutai was roughly in this area. He knows, as I said, that we have a lot invested in here, so he'll suspect that we'll probably stay in here. But we will not. By the way, can you see what the Allied garrison is in Numea? We have... I don't know. We don't have a perfect idea. We have a rough idea. We've seen it vary from 1,000, 2,000 to 3,000. You could leave this seaplane carrier with your BB for the long-range reconnaissance. We're not going to leave this seaplane carrier, unfortunately, but what we will do here is... we're going to have the other seaplane carrier move south. As she moves south, I'm going to have them... Well, to be honest, I can have them transfer down here. And then obviously we'll have them transferred down there. So in about 2 days we could have some E13A1s there. Yeah. And this is it. It's one of these things of I can absolutely understand the worries and the concerns here. I'm not even kidding when I say some of these things do tend to keep me up sometimes at night because I will spend a long time thinking about them. But the way I'm looking at this is, okay, we saw a great concentration of shipping over this way. We saw his 3 carriers escorted by a large amount of ships. I wish I'd counted the amount of ships there. If somebody has time, if they want to go back to a previous stream and sort of get a look at the numbers there. But we saw a large amount of men over there. Well, a large amount of shipping over there. We've seen warships in Fiji. We've seen warships, as far as I'm aware, we've seen warships at Auckland. I think it's one of these things of where he'll not have a huge amount of forces, so I don't know if he'd really wish to throw them there. But either way, we are preparing. The actual landing forces will be set to low threat threshold, so obviously if the enemy is encountered, they'll try to get the fuck out of there. Right, if he doesn't and the BBs arrive, then I'll be fine as they would deter the attack. But the thing is, is a battleship going to deter attack, per se? Maybe, maybe not. It depends, really. Oh dear. Okay. So the battleships are going to be ideally refueled, reinforced, and they're going to be moved in here. You sunk many support units near Comac. Right. This is it, isn't it? We don't know what was here, we don't know what we hit. Yeah. It's like at the moment we do have a heavy cruiser and obviously a light cruiser here, Tatsuta. Also, we do have the patrol boats, but at least they could actually screen the actual transports now. I do obviously have these, well, I have I-10, which has a bit of detection over, and I-175. Okay. We'll see. We'll see. The battleships can only move so far in a day, so in a day, no matter what, they're going to be here unless we burn at full speed, and I don't see the point of moving at full speed. Okay. Kashima and the AMC moving in there. Okay. Well, let's take a look on board then. What do we actually have on board the Cheetos? That's a lot of F1M2Ps, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. What I am gonna do then is I'll transfer this unit. So I'm gonna transfer them to Luganville. There we go. The DDs have varying levels of damage. We're talking about the ones in the surface force? Not huge amounts. They'll need some time in ports eventually. Okay, so I've transferred over a squadron of E13A1s. So that's good, at least we do have additional reconnaissance now. A little bit of fatigue. They do have one in reserve here. So 70-30 works for me. Well, to be honest, in the short term, I'll have them run at 100% surge then. So let's take a look at this. So I'm looking for range here. So 13 hexes of range, 11 hexes of range. Okay, 10 hexes of range. So we have some reconnaissance around this area. Now, what we could probably do over here then is once Comac is secured, is we could actually take the AEV over here and she could be transferred down here to Comac. So obviously then I could actually run float planes from that area. And obviously additional reconnaissance. It's all going to come down to reconnaissance, really. But let's look at it like this, then. So, we have reconnaissance here. We have reconnaissance here. We now have reconnaissance here. If I can, I'll transfer some reconnaissance over here. I shouldn't be able to... I might transfer another squadron from the seaplane here, then I could have it replaced. I might go for that, then we'd have, like, 5 bases actually served, perhaps. I don't know, let's see what we actually have available, really. Issue is I'm alright transferring them all over the place, but we need to actually cover the fleet's reconnaissance needs. Okay, they must remain on station. I could do with actually getting them reserves. I mean, we are lacking planes to a degree. Okay. So they do have a range of 4, which isn't exactly amazing. Okay. That'll do. Yeah, we have another light cruiser over here, another 2 destroyers, a few patrol boats, another AMC as well. I'm looking forward to when the tanks actually arrive. These guys are going to be very, very handy. Definitely going to be handy. Okay, these guys need to return to Tarawa. So there, Major, how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you once again. Right, you might be able to weigh in on this one as well there, Major. So, we didn't see a third carrier strike here. We don't have actual indication of where these carriers are right now. So we are sort of debating as to whether the carriers are returned to Midway. Well, sorry, returning to Pearl Harbor. Or whether he might be actually pursuing a potential strike further down south. Now, I'm leaning towards the fact that he probably is returning towards Midway. Sorry, why do I keep saying Midway? Towards Pearl Harbor. He might even be headed north. Hard to say. We have had a big discussion over how best to employ our assets in the south. Now, what I'm going to say here, supporting my theory that the carriers aren't coming, is that each of these patrol boats does not have detection. So that's indicating that there's no actual reconnaissance aircraft here running this, or at least in this area, as far as I can say. I can't say that exactly. Yeah, we did fucking lose a transporter minesweeper. That was annoying. Issue with that is, it's like, as far as I could tell, there was no ships here. I mean, it's one of those things, it's like, I don't know, I'm not going to apologise for that one, because at the end of the day, it's like we had run days worth of reconnaissance and it had just not been picked up. So it's one of these of, we can't... Well, as far as I was concerned, it's like we were really worrying about potential other forces that were in the area around there. I don't think he had that, but then again, this is it. Somehow our reconnaissance managed to miss 1,600 men here as well, so we'll have to live and learn about it. Yeah, that was annoying. That was very, very annoying. Very annoying. Okay. Right, so E13A1's over here. Shame there's only 3 of them, but we'll get a reserve there. Check the task force of Baker Island. If he has detection, he's probably went south or east. Well, see, this is it. Baker Island has 1 out of 5. So that's what I find interesting. 1 out of 5 detection at Baker Island. The actual task force, though, task force 142 doesn't have detection. I-19 isn't detected. Yeah, really. Yeah, this is it, isn't it? And we're worried he'll strike from the south with cruisers and destroyers. I don't know. We'll see. I think it's one of these things. I think it'd be a very bold move, and I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, this is it. It's not a bad ship. It's actually it's armed. At the end of the day, it had a 100mm gun. It's not ineffectually armed. It's not inconsequential. It's just irritating. So we didn't know about the goddamn thing there. Oh dear. Live and learn, Bear. Really, live and learn. Oh well. Yeah. I mean, this is it. So what I've done to actually respond to that is I've put the E13A1s on daytime search. Obviously these H6Ks, we lost 2 of them supposedly. So yeah, we have these guys on search. We have the Funafuti squadron on search. I've transferred another squadron from Kiributai to here, so the E13A1. So we do have search in 3 different locations in this rough area. Also, we do have the H6Ks. I've actually activated the thoe KUT, so they're active for day search. I have day search from these different islands as well, so they're in day search now. The Submarine Palmyra. The Submarine Palmyra doesn't have any detection. This submarine doesn't have detection. I-2 no detection. I-7 no detection. I-22 no detection. I-4 no detection. I-3 no detection. Of course, I do have a... Right, RO-67. Okay. It might be worth it to have the RO-67 head down here, perhaps. But then again, she's near wake. I might as well have her head to wake. I might see if I can transfer a float plane to Squadron to wake, actually. That'd be nice. See, the thing is, it's alright being bold and risky, but the thing is, it's going to come back on him one day. And when it does come back on him, it's going to come back on him fucking hard. Okay, I'm actually going to transfer this squadron to wake. Oh, bad weather? Surely? Or is it the distance there? Yeah, I mean, this is it. I think it makes sense, because it's like at the end of the day, he stopped here 2 days, he raided 2 days. He knows that if something was on its way, it'd be on its way. He knows if there's a response, it's being created. Yeah, well, this is it. It's like, I've checked the operations report, and I've not seen any activity, I've not seen any flights over this way. So, to be honest, I'm... I don't know. It's an interesting one. He'll eventually lose something consequential. It's going to eventually happen. C. There's always the chance that he's heading back out here, perhaps, and we might intercept him with a submarine, or something of that nature. In reality, I just need to know where he is. But I think we can afford to head back to track to rearm and repair. I just think we can. I don't think there's a reason as to why not. We have our battleships down here, as well as our surface force to ensure security down here. I don't think TEHG is necessarily bold and risky, but he knows he can get away with losses much more so than Japan. Yeah, perhaps so, but not when it comes to carriers, not at this stage. Okay, we spent a long time debating this, and it's like, there has been good points. I'm not going to say that hasn't. And it's like, I'm not going to say that I don't agree with them either. It's like, I can absolutely get behind a lot of the reason, and a lot of the actual, well, yeah, a lot of the reason, and a lot of the actual arguments here are valid. But we have to... There are certain things that we must do, and there's certain timetables that we must bear in mind. Yeah. Check the ammunition level on Kiributai. Are we talking about individual ships? It's, fuel's alright. I mean, when I say, like, rearm, it's mostly because it's like there's going to be some sorties, some torpedoes that we need to, like, basically, fill up on. We're not too bad, actually. We do have, I mean, it's only really a Kalagi that's low on torpedoes. Yeah, that'd be nice. I don't know if Luganville can get that. She could get to level 3, but yeah, that'd be quite handy. Thing is, an AK is quite valuable, actually. Okay. I'm looking forward to when Kishima Maru and Tatuhara Maru arrives down there. That'd be nice to have some additional capacity. Right, so what we're going to do here then is... So Kiributai is going to be arriving here, which is 118-136. Okay. 118-136. Stay on station. Right. Yep, she's going to wait there. So what we'll do then is, once Kiributai is here tomorrow, we'll refuel if needs be. If it's a threat, we'll refuel. If there isn't a threat, we'll continue to head north. Max Sort is a nearly full torpedo, so you don't need to rearm. Yeah, that's true. I'd like to... I mean, this is it. I'd like to refuel. But I'd also like to begin working on some of the damage and just really take on additional A System 2 zeros, to be honest. I'd like to face him with a full complement of fighters. See, I'd have left behind some A6M5s, but unfortunately the airfield's not yet ready. See, that's something to bear in mind. I'm going to head back to truck to refuel, but we can definitely bear that one in mind. And to be honest, it might be really... I mean, well, this is it. It's like, I suppose this is it. It's like I haven't alluded to as what I'm planning. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to head back to truck, refuel, try and take on some replacements. We are seeing the 56th Division move down here. Now, I'm saying they're going to be hitting Rabaul. We could hit Rabaul, perhaps. And to be honest, if we have Kibutai and we have a division under our control, as well as additional forces over here, it's like we could potentially choose a pretty decent target over here and potentially do some major damage out that way. We'll see. Oof. See, we have to, well, we sort of function like a, what is it? Yeah, I suppose we function a little bit like an alligator. No, I know what you're saying there, Major. But we'll head to truck, refuel. While we're there, if we can repair any damage, we'll repair any damage. If we can take on some replacements, we'll take on some replacements. I don't want to keep Kibutai out here on a shoestring indefinitely. And will you keep the A5M4s on your CVs? Now, ideally, I'd like these A5M4s to actually pick up the carrier-trained. That'd be great. They're carrier-capable, but they're not carrier-trained. I'm hoping that they might actually pick that carrier-trained up before I have to get them off the carriers. But what we'll do with them is I'd like them to ultimately upgrade to A6M2s in the future. And then I'd like to have them deployed out here to actually, I don't know, to obviously run from potentially like Luganville or Nouméa in the future, or Truck, or casually not, well, Roynema really. I do need fighters out this way. No, it's an interesting point, man. Okay. Yeah, Sydney would be a great target. I mean, I'm not discounting that at all. I mean, it'd be nice to hit Sydney, Brisbane. It'd be nice to obviously go and hit potentially Auckland as well. Also, we need the fuel. Now, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to bear that in mind, but I think what we'll do is we'll see how things turn out as such. And what I mean by that is, for example, this oil is going to refuel the Fiji cover force. Kibutai is going to move over here, where they're then going to be met by an oiler with 7,688 units of fuel. We'll see what happens in this turn. So, let's go with the assumption that we don't see any existential threats, such as something like a fucking carrier force or something of that nature. If we have, well, we will have enough fuel over here then if there's no other reason to continue north as such, then I'll actually countenance headed down here to Brisbane and Sydney. That would really cause a lot of damage, and I can definitely agree to that. It does rely on Kidabutai being undetected. That would be nice. I think it's one of these. We are going to be setting up a increased amount of search capacity out here as well, so that's going to be definitely handy for us. So I'm going to pick up these troops over here at Baker Island and actually take control of this base over here. It irritates me that it's not under our control. Right, begin to load these troops then. Right, let's let that load. Okay. So, we are going to be taking on fuel here anyway. I mean, I could have them head down that way. But, I suppose this is it. It's like, I'd like to be at this point here. Mostly due to the fact that, if there's a possibility... Unfortunately, they don't have any reconnaissance planes left. Yeah, this is going to be my middle ground, really. What I mean by that is they're going to refuel. Well, they'll refuel next turn, but they'll refuel anyhow. We'll be in a position where we're just as close, really, towards Australia as we are to Trek, as we are to Tarawa, for example. I think we need to assess the situation and move from there. But we could definitely head down to Australia. It would be a nice idea. I do spot this. This is why I like when people suggest... this is why I like the back and forth that we have here in discussions, because it really does lead to some very good things. Look at all yeah, these guys are unloading. What do they unload here? Engineer unit, surely? Fair enough. Oh, I think this is a force coming from elsewhere, actually. Possibly. How big is the Chichijima Special Base Force now? It's only 624, actually. Right, we'll look at dispatching maybe a transport to pick them up in the future anyhow. Kiso's heading down there to Inawatok for the time being, though I might have them moving to Roidamura or Kwajalein. Obviously, it depends on the amount of submarines in this area. Okay, I'm going to put more onto day search, actually. Okay. I mean, that could really cause some issues for him, really. Or I could really get behind that plan. Yeah, there's a lot of H6Ks. I really, really bloody need to get their maintenance correctly. It is bothering me, dramatically so. Okay. I think they shared fuel, didn't they? Now, what do we do here? We have elements of the 24th well, sorry, 24th Regiment. So that's 2,400 men there. Nearly 2,500 men. Yeah, Midway is an airfield, but we don't have any aviation support out there. So the issue is, it's like, we could have planes there, but they're going to break down very, very quickly. I suppose the question is, with these men from Midway, do we send them to potentially, like, I don't know, we could potentially send them. Yeah, Rebel is going to be on. Rebel is already on the plan, on the card. Sorry, Rebel's already been worked into. I think it'd be nice. I don't know. It's one of these things of where to deploy them. And we could get some support there, but it's another thing saying it, another thing doing it, really. Issue is, it's like, is that support really worth it there? Possibly in the future. We'll look at maybe a small engineer unit. I'm kind of thinking about having these 2,000 men sent to Truck still. And then at least from Truck we could actually figure out where they could go. I'd love to pick up the rest of the regiment and have it moved out as as an entire unit. Okay. So they can continue on their path then. Suppose the thing is, do I... Yeah, I'll have them actually arrive earlier, to be fair. Yeah. Little bit of difference. Have those men unload and, yeah. So I do have 3 full oilers over here, very large ones too. Okay. So I'm going to transfer you out there to Wake. Is it still not letting me do it? Is it the issue of range then, perhaps? We'll double check that one. So I'm probably trying to do it and I might not actually have the range to do so. I say it's probably an issue of range. Okay. Right, transfer them to Quadraline for the time being. At least they can actually act as additional reconnaissance over that way. Okay. Now what we're going to do as well is C detachment is going to be transferred over here to the Shortlands. So what we're going to do then is obviously we'll have an AV there in about 2 days. But the good news is now, let's take a look at this then. So, we have reconnaissance, we have float planes over here at Luganville, we have reconnaissance over here at the Shortlands, Funafuti, Tarawa, Kwajalein, Roy de Mer, obviously the other island, and Wake Island. So, let's take a look at this then. So, something like that, really. Ah, see you later, Ron. Have a good one, my friend. Okay. I do feel happy that we've really discussed this. I feel we've made quite a lot of good points here, and I feel like there is some actual good things to happen. Gonna take that lone destroyer I saw earlier, actually. Yeah, Yakahazi. Right, so they'll be loading up. Indeed. Yeah. I know this is going to take us longer to head back to Australia, but I'd rather... I think that's probably the better move. At least it's the middle ground move. Okay. So we're going to have this force begin to head down here towards Tulagi. Excuse me, sorry. Okay. Home port is here at Truck. And obviously I do have another one here as well. But I think that is a hell of a lot of fuel. There's a lot of fuel. At least we do have an actual seaplane carrier there. So, well, seaplane cruiser. So obviously that does give us the ability to project reconnaissance out there on the move. Now, what I'm going to do here then is I'm going to run naval search for the time being. Just for the first day. We'll run naval search, get an idea of what's in the general area. Once we kind of have a general idea of what's going on in the area, then I can actually start to run reconnaissance of Rabaul. Now, the 56th Division. Those engineers would be really handy for breaking down enemy fortifications. Alright, naval construction is going to arrive tomorrow. Auto disband when mission is done. So they're going to head back in there. Now, I do have a Singapore Express here. I think what I might do here then is tell Zui Ho to actually hit the port there, perhaps. But again, they are running naval attack here, aren't they? Yeah, keep them on naval attack. Okay, take the base tomorrow. What do I have here in terms of AV? 84, yeah. I think that unit could definitely take that. So, I'm going to have them set to shock attack, actually. I think they should be able to manage that. I'll give them a superior commander just in case. That'll help. He's actually got pretty damn good inspiration. There we go. But honestly, once this base is taken, ideally there's some supply here. There might be actually a little bit of supply here. But yeah, once that's taken, ideally we could probably try and gather some supply phase in here. But obviously then we'll look at landing over here as well. Just keep it moving, really. I'll use Singapore Express to actually clear out the ships around this area, I reckon. Okay, they're just loading supplies now. Cancel loading. Okay, they're going to head out and land over here at this port. And then we're going to begin our operations there. Okay. Diamonds allowed. Low threat threshold. Now, the big question of the hour is in regards to Clark. Now, Infinite Monkey did advocate, advocate for a shock attack here. We did see, I mean, we have 294, we have 409, 380. A little bit of artillery. We obviously have these units on combat mode now. The cannon detachment's going to take Eba, but obviously they'll join up. Hmm. Tanaka detachment. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is it. Shock attacks are really intriguing. Hmm. See, the 14th Army's still on their way. Really need them to quicken pace. It's a shame if they were landing over here at Langan, well, arriving over here at Langan, they'd really contribute a lot here. I think we'll set the divisions for shock, perhaps. But again, when it comes to a shock attack, you have to go all out, really, don't you? So there's no fortifications. The terrain does give them benefits. I imagine the terrain's actually, obviously not clear. He did lose a lot of guns there. Like, quite a lot of guns. I think we might be able to get away with a shock attack. Might. It's one of these of when it could go really, really well, or it could go really, really badly. But what I'm going to do here then... I'm going to send these sallies to actually give aid, really. I'll put them at 10,000 feet. I think that'll be alright. Well, about 12,000 actually is usually good. Good. Right. So I'm going to have these sallies bomb Clark. So okay, 21C, so yeah, 1C Sally's going to do that. Okay. Good reconnaissance over here at Clark. Okay, now what we're going to do here... So I do have these Ki-27s, but obviously we're an escort of a Clark. I'm going to transfer the other squadron there. See you later there, pirate. Have a good one, my man. Thank you very much for your contributions here today. And escort Clark. Okay. Do you have the K-48s as well somewhere? Yeah, so they're over here. Okay. So, we'll have 3 divisions. Obviously 2 are near a full strength. 1 really did get hurt to a degree, but we'll see. Ideally, the actual additional aircraft. Well, the aircraft bombing might help us out. Ideally. Sieges are always difficult. But the thing is, he's down to 0 fortifications, so that definitely helps. Obviously, he's got the defensive terrain over here, but we should still be able to break him. I hope so, anyway. I do indeed hope so. Yep, that AKA is moving out. AKE, not AKA. Yep, additional assets over there. They're moving down. Oh, right, that's the auxiliary repair. I was thinking then, what the hell's that doing there? To be fair, I'm going to actually have those patrol boats sent out elsewhere. I need them. I mean, patrol boats really do come in super handy. We know there's a submarine here. So what I'm going to do here then is introduce a new waypoint. Right, so you're carrying additional naval construction, that's good. Oh, so still actually elements of the 56th Division here then, okay. That's a lot of stuff there as well, that's irritating, okay. I thought we picked the entire thing up, we must have missed that. Yeah, we'll have to take that. Okay, load up the rest of the 56. Not gonna lie, I'd like to take a base force as well. Yep, verify the load there. Okay. So I'm gonna have you head down towards Babaldwab. I could use those engineers and potentially, like, down here, one of the bases, potentially even, like, thoe or elsewhere. Okay, so we did mine over here. So we do have mines over here at Merrick. Ideally, that does come into use. Okay, let's take a look at that. Ocean deep, ocean shallow here. We'll draw one of these shallows. Okay. Are we detected? Undetected, undetected. Ocean shallow. To be honest, I want to be in the deeper oceans, don't I? Sorry, I forgot how fucking submarines work then. Yeah, we'll head to the deep ocean. See, when it comes to mine, it's a difficult one. I mean, I can continue to try and, like, mine Merrick, because at least that is a point of entry. Obviously, it's an entrance that we could try and do something about, really. That would have been nice. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, that's not what I want. That'll do. In Hazara, at last I have some G4M1s in the pool. Makes a bloody big difference. Yeah, these troop ships need to be moved out. Especially these ones. In Congo, Maru has some amazing speed there. I don't think it'd be a bad idea here to rest. We'll rest a day or two. Finally take a position of this, well, possession of the base here. We'll secure this. I don't know. It's one of these of like, do we go for another attack here? Thing is, it's like each time I'm hurting myself there as well. Take a look at the combat report again. Right. Yeah, there's a fair amount disabled there. So the fortifications are at 0 now. Right, okay. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to go for... Now we'll rest a day. We'll rest a day. Let's just take a look at this then. 29, 23, 14, 21, 22. 116th. We'll have a day's rest then, I guess. To be honest, I'm going to move this infantry regiment up the coast there to Canton. At least I'll help out with the garrison. I don't actually need a garrison in Hong Kong. Okay, so they're moving in. Okay. So that one was originally heading for Wuchang. I'm going to continue that. Actually, no, bugger that. The 32nd is going to head over here. We'll have it, What's the road network like? Okay, the 32nd is going to head over here to Changchao, then it's going to march up. What I wanted to do is I wanted to, well, arrive over here, but I wanted to move up over here then so we can actually, basically completely cut off this city here of Luoyang. If I could trap all the Chinese forces then, destroy them, that would be a pretty nice victory. It would be quite an important victory as well. I mean, it's like, of course, he does have a lot of men over here. I mean, a huge amount of men. But, yeah, if I can contain them and destroy them, then I could then move on to destroying his forces at Nanyang. If I could inflict such massive losses like that, that would be a start. It'd definitely help us out. Definitely. Okay, this unit. Wuta Hangchao. I don't think they can make it to Jushian. No, unfortunately bloody not, otherwise that'd make things significantly easier. So I wish you could actually head to that, but you've got to head to a base. So head down here. What I'm going to do then is actually send this unit to the south to Wenchao to support. I think the actual terrain there is making things difficult, yeah. Looks like forested rough or something like that, but it's making it difficult for us. Okay, let's do some reconnaissance over here. Reconnaissance over there at Hanyang. So in fact, Guilin as well. Try and get an idea what's going on with the Chinese. Fair amount of men there. Just what I'm going to do here then is move my men to this position. If there's no troops over here, we'll move in and take control of that, because that's a nice airfield. But if I can actually sever the connection here, that'd be nice. Not gonna lie, that regiment would be needed down here. I know it's gonna leave Bangkok complaining, but I'd rather have that regiment employed. Right, so all these forces are unpacking and getting ready to move out. They're moving good. The Naval Guard's moving. I think this is it. It's like we do have our A6 and 2 zeros. Taking a bit of a battering, haven't we? Okay. So I'm going to send this larger squadron to sweep. I'm going to send them about 25,000 feet, actually. Want to be above where he usually is. I know you need to get us in cities and such, but what is the negative modifier that happens? I think we lose, yeah, partisans, damage, factories, it takes 1,000 supply. Yeah, that's right. So we are paying for it, don't get me wrong, but I think it's one of these things of where we might need the men elsewhere. Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking what we're going to go ahead here and do then is, it's like, for example, I do have 29 zeros here in the port. I'd like to get them into fucking Kiributai. But then again, I'm going to keep them in reserve until I know what I'm doing exactly with Kiributai. So I'm going to run a sweep mission over here. Everything else is going to escort to Singapore. Right, sweep, escort, escort. The 1Bs are going to be set to the same altitude as the Ki-21, so we'll send them to 12,000. In fact, I'll go for about 15,000. No, you're right there, Cola. But I'm going to hold them in reserve till tomorrow. We'll decide what we're going to be doing shortly. Throw the Ki-44s into this. If they can even make it down that way. I don't know if they can, to be honest. Too far, okay. Well, they can run combat air patrol over here, actually. These bloody bombers in a sorry state, aren't they? Reconnaissance is in a sorry state. Okay. There's a good part of me that thinks, do we even bother raiding the airfields at Singapore? We do have an additional... I think we have, like, what? One additional Zero Squadron now? So at least that's some extra zeros. Obviously, I'm sending... So I'm sending 37 to sweep. Give or take. Obviously, they're going to be going at 25,000 feet. So 37 there. Then there's going to be like, what, 30 or 40, something in that sort of region, to escort alongside the Ki-43-1B, so that's another couple there to escort. Alright. And this is it. Is it even worth it wasting bombs to bomb Singapore? See, the thing is, if I can subdue his air force at Singapore, I can actually move in the area. I'd actually be able to use my bombers then, for example, against his ground troops. It'd give us a lot of flexibility. I don't know. I think it's one of these things of where... The thing is, it's like, for him to win out, he has to throw everything in regards to his combat patrol up. And even then, it's still not always great for him. We do well when we send in these small raids. Yeah, when they go in with these small raids... They do fairly good damage. It's one of these things. I think we've got to break him. And it can be done. He is at a point at which, well, fucking difficult for him. We'll see how this turns out. But the thing is, it's like, if I can break him here, then I can actually move naval assets around here and really support our forces. We could even land at different places, perhaps. Okay. I've got 32 in these in the pool, and to be honest, they are good aircraft. I'm going to continue to use them. So there, Chainsaw Joe, how you doing, my friend? How big is this squadron? See, the thing is, it's like, I'm going to have to break his air force in regards to Singapore either way, because we are going to have to use our air power to aid us there. And I'm not entirely convinced that we need to. I'm not entirely convinced that we shouldn't. Yeah, it's the torpedo bombs I really want to take care of, but I suppose at the end of the day, it's like... We'll see how it turns out this turn. We can break him here. He has lost a lot of fighters. The thing is, if I leave him free here, he'll move these fighters, these bombs elsewhere. We'll go one more turn and see how this does. I mean, this is it, but the thing is, it's like, he's not going to leave the aircraft there once we are there to besiege Singapore. I kind of do want to hit his air force as well, they're on here. We'll go one day, we'll see how this turns out. We are throwing a larger amount of effort at it. See, the thing is, it's like, if I do interdict over here, if he's running a combat patrol, then it's like, it's a difficult one. We'll break it, and then once we break it, we have far more in the way of options then. But we'll see how this turn turns out. If it's not a positive result or encouraging, then we'll obviously just leave it. Well, we're hitting the Dutch base anyhow. Yeah, sweep till death. Well, this is kind of what I'm thinking here. It's the way to beat it is obviously to force it to withdraw. Now, we are going to go in with a... But the thing is, it's like he's thrown a shitload of his combat air patrol up. It's going to cost him. We'll go with this one day. We'll go one day, see how that turns out. I think that's the way we'll go with it. Right. The hell are you supplying? Just I could do with some additional supply down here. Okay, we're unloading our supply over here. That's good news. Tell them to dock up and unload. That's good. Also going to need that supply here in the center of China. She really needs to be moved to Hong Kong. Okay, these guys are going to be ready tomorrow. These will be another week. 142 days for Congo. There we go, 4 brand new patrol boats there. Fantastic. Okay, so they're going to head over, let's say to Shanghai. That's the first lot there. Okay, so a week until we have a, well, so Akika's will be ready tomorrow for another 4 days, and then another week, well, 5 days until we have quite a few more over here. These are actually pretty damn good patrol boats as well, so that's awesome. So at least with that, we are going to have patrol boats with some pretty good range. We're just going to have to flood the waters of Japan with just patrol boats, just shitloads of patrol boats. Right. Okay, yeah, miles away from that. Okay, let's take a look at this then. 1 day. Okay, so you can upgrade to the Jakes, which we'll do. How many aircraft can you actually handle here? 3. I know pilots. I know Anna's going to sweep in here to tell me about pilots. Okay, B5M1s. Yep, knew it, Anno. Called it. I was considering here, do I upgrade these to zeros? But then again, it's like, I do have a fair Let's have a look. I mean, I have plenty of these biplanes. I know Swordfish is going to, like, see some sort of beacon in the sky. Okay. So the B5N1s are more durable. B5N2s are even more durable than that. Ah, so they don't have that radar, it seems. But I don't think we actually have that available right now. I wish. One day. Downgrade. I'm kind of thinking that maybe we use the B5N1s. Upgrade them to the B5N1 to sorry, B5N1Ks. Add in another 10. Or as many that can be handled. Oh wow, could actually have a large squadron there. It depends really, there's going to be obviously a couple days for missing pilots. No, she can't operate midget subs. That'd be kind of fucking cool though, I'm not gonna lie. Wow, there's so little torpedoes available here. Could you even carry torpedoes? I don't think she even carries torpedoes. No, don't even have torpedoes there. Wow. See, their speed is the issue here. I mean, Thoe has pretty decent capacity. I think it's one of those things of where they can make four hexes per day. That's fine by me. Well, sorry, 4 hexes per phase. That's fine. I also need to get some escorts out here. Okay. Oh, wow, Chiton. That is amazing. That is genuinely freaking awesome. Like, can you imagine it would be launching human... Those are fucking torpedoes with guys in it, Jesus. That is impressive. Yeah, it's definitely something else. She actually gains an incredible AA suite. I mean, that's actually pretty good for Japanese. That's still a fair... That's incredible. I'd like Kitakami to survive, just really be able to launch human torpedoes at him. That'd be fucking hilarious. Dark as fuck, but hilarious. I'm gonna escort those tankers back. Okay. Merge. $259. Right, head to Nagasaki to refuel. Can they make it Shanghai? They can't. Right, can they make it to Nagasaki? They can. Right, so refuel when you get to Nagasaki. Okay. We're going to overhaul this area, really. Okay. I'm going to use these guys offensively, actually. What we need to do then is, so in a week, we'll have far, far, far more patrol boats, and we'll be able to set up a lot of, well, we'll really run it a bit like relay stations. Like a good series of relay stations with actual patrol boats in that surrounding area. Then what we'll do is obviously have some intermittent destroyers. I mean, even 2 destroyers, something like that. Just a couple destroyers. Just around that area to run in between and just really to prevent, well, present some kind of a real solid danger to his, well, submarines in that area. That would be nice. Definitely need more aircraft here. And once we're done building this port here at Fusan up, we're going to have these guys move around and basically build up other bases. Spread them out, really. I could do a lot of patrol boat sense over here as well. See, I'd like to have a surface defense force over here to the north, to be honest. I really, really would like to. They need repair. Honestly, rather impressed by how quickly they've broken down. Very quickly. Right, okay, you've just finished loading, that's good news. Okay, so that's something else to send. See, I might send this to Midway. I might go for Midway. There's a lot of supply on board as well. If I can get some engineers to Midway, I could actually look at running some reconnaissance out that way. And we'd actually have a pretty good web there set up. Or at least in the process of being set up. So we'll have them head down that way for the time being, man. But I'd say... yeah... might be worthwhile to have something patrol on its way down here towards Auckland, perhaps. I-21 actually has its, well, actually has a reconnaissance aircraft as well, which is really handy, so we'll have her do the rounds. Very valuable. Oh, so is I-8. Okay, that's good news. They do indeed eat fuel fast. Okay. I'll have them make their way down here to Luganville. Okay. What do we need to pick up that artillery regiment? 2180. We'll organize a unit to do so. Let's see. I mean, I know I could have had them spread out, but I could do with these actual bottoms down that way. Was AFK? Will it be a shock or deliberate attack at Clark? I think we're going to risk a shock attack. I think we'll risk a shock. I think it's one of these things of where you know he's moving, he's not in a combat. Doesn't seem like he's actually in combat mode. He might go to combat mode, but if he goes to combat mode, he's not going to be really put down. But we'll see what happens. We've broken the fortification, so I think with that, I think we are pretty much done with the turn. I don't think we have anything massively pressing. I don't think there's anything particularly missed. We are sending, well, we did miss a part of the 56, but we are picking that up. Yeah, I'm surprised. I must have missed that. Indeed, Banzai. Yeah, so they're heading south. Kiributai is going to head north, refuel. Well, they'll refuel next turn, depending. And then depending on what happens in the coming days, we'll really decide on what we're going to do here. But we might head out and raid... yeah, raid Australia. Could be quite good. We've got our reconnaissance over here. It's going to suffer in the meantime, but we are going to run some reconnaissance. But yeah, we are going to be sending a engineer unit down here to Midway then. So it's been a very interesting turn, actually. There's not been a huge amount happened, but at least we're on the ground now in New Caledonia. We finally set foot on the soil there. Hasn't gone the best. Didn't go the best way to begin with, but hey, we're there. I think Kunagusa are probably going to open fire, but that's fine. She's running reconnaissance. Oh, she's running naval search. Take a look. Do I have any other float planes here? Just the two, okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to actually run them on reconnaissance. I'd rather know what's going on over here at Comac and have a better idea. Kotori, yeah, just get that detection level up. Just get that information in, really. So we have very poor detection level here at Comac, and we're fucking on the ground. No good, is it? Okay. They're going to shock attack next turn. And we're making our push. Yeah, we should be at Logyang. Maybe two to 3 days is when the battle's going to kick off. But we actually do have a headquarters nearby, so that's going to really up our combat power. Decisively so as well, which is going to be very nice. A shitload of assault value here. Absolute shitload. Okay. Yeah. Now... A day's rest, yep, a day's rest. Allow reinforcements to begin making their way. We're going to be hitting this area. We've got the KI-27 set up to escort, yes. Double check here. We're going to see how this goes. This is a lot of zeros that are going into this. At least we do have the KI-43s running that sort of altitude. These zeros are really going to be free to hunt for the most part. We'll decide what happens, but if we do have Kitabutai head down to Australia, then the zeros will be released over here to fill these squadrons. I can countenance that. We'll see what happens. I suppose in some ways I'm being cautious, in others I'm being aggressive. I think we need to try and find this midpoint, don't we? But... thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope you guys have genuinely enjoyed this. It's honestly one of the most incredible things I've ever done in my life. It's a series that's going to continue to evolve and grow as we do, to be honest. It's like, I'm sure you guys have noticed, it's like my experience level when we first started. Obviously, it's nowhere near what it is now. And I'm still making mistakes now, still learning now. Same as we all are. And this is what I like. I love the fact that this is a group effort. This is something that we do together. It might be me here talking, it might be me here clicking. At the end of the day, it's like we do try to make the best decisions together, to be honest. We always do try to figure out what we want to do together. I think that's what really makes this a very interactive series, to be honest. I think it's really awesome. I love talking to you guys. You guys really do make my day. And girls, of course, there's a couple out there. So yes, I'd like to say thank you, and if you have enjoyed this, please do consider supporting myself and the channel. You can do this in a number of ways, such as Patreon, PayPal, Super Chats, and of course, I am looking at releasing prints for sale. I do have 2 at the moment, and yeah, I'm just trying to find out how cheaply I can get them printed. But if you guys would like a print, obviously as a means to support the channel, then do go ahead and message me in Discord. No pressure, no pressure. Until next time, goodbye for now. Have a great time. Goodbye.